Hello, hello. Thanks for tuning in. Say hey in the comments. Let me know that you are watching. If you are watching the replay, I want to talk about brand voice. But before we talk about that, let me tell you who I am. My name is Monique James. I am an AI marketing consultant and I work with small to medium sized business owners just like you, and I help them use AI to build and execute their marketing strategies the right way. The right way is aligned with your brand character, targeted and aimed at your customers, and aligned and optimized for your preferred content channels. I want to talk today about brand voice because it is a key piece of the brand character, brand identity element of your marketing strategy. If your brand were a person, how would they sound? How would they communicate? If you've never done this, if you've never taken the time to walk through a brand voice discovery process as a part of your marketing strategy, I want you to know your brand already has a voice, even if you haven't defined it. Your audience has decided for themselves what your brand's voice is, and you are not involved in the process. And that is why I am having this conversation. That is why I lean on this process as a foundational piece of your marketing strategy because it is so important. And I want to talk today about a mistake. One of the biggest mistakes that I see small to medium sized business owners make when it comes to their brand voice. If you haven't prioritized it, I hope after you watch this video, you will change your mind. You will start to think about how you, as the leader, the visionary, the founder, the CEO of your business, you can step into the driver's seat and define and clarify what your brand's voice is so your marketing can align with that. Now, here's the thing. What are the consequences? Some of you might be thinking, well, I've never done this and I'm doing fine. Like, I don't know why I need to care. You need to care because when you haven't defined the brand voice, your marketing is inconsistent in how it lands. It's inconsistent in its tone. It's inconsistent probably across channels. You might be more formal on a platform like LinkedIn, and on Instagram, you might be something else. You might be super salesy in your emails. The thing is, particularly for you, if you have a team, if there are other people creating your marketing for you, without having that guidance, your messaging isn't aligned, isn't clear. It's confusing. And confusion does not build trust. Confusion does not bring people closer to your brand. It doesn't cultivate that brand stickiness. What it does is push people away. You also miss the emotional connection. If you understand humans, if you're watching this, you are a human. If you understand humans, then you know that we make decisions off of our emotions. I know you don't want to hear that. We do. Let's just tell the truth. We make decisions fueled by our emotions. And so when you think about what your brand voice, how your brand voice can spark feelings in your audience, you want to orchestrate, you want to create, manufacture specific feelings in your audience to get them closer to saying yes to you, right? I can't imagine you want your audience to feel like they don't trust you. I can't imagine you want your audience to feel like they don't know you or that you don't get them. You want your marketing to create the types of feelings that will get them closer to say yes to you when you ask for whatever you're going to ask for. Your brand voice plays a big part of that because with the types of words you use, with the presentation you make, you can spark specific emotions that allow them to move through their journey in the way that you've designed them to move through the journey. And then you also, when you haven't defined your brand voice, you risk blending into the wallpaper. Like it becomes just noise. It's you and then it's everybody else, because the market, you are not the only one competing for the attention of your audience. They have a lot of information coming at them. And so if you take the time, if you invest in defining what your brand's voice is, you can carve out a space. You can talk about things in a way that only you can do it, that only you can talk about it in this way. For example, at the time that I'm doing this broadcast, we're just coming out of the whole TikTok ban that wasn't, right? There were a lot of people talking about the ban. And I talked about the ban in a way that aligns with my brand, with what I do, with my brand voice. There was a video that I posted on a couple of my social channels that says social media ain't all that. You need to be thinking about building a strategy that includes more than just social channels, because algorithms change, channels get banned. And if those are the only ways that you have to connect with your audience, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You are doing your brand a disservice. When you think about taking the time to identify, to clarify, to develop what your brand's voice is, I know it might sound like you're doing something that restricts you, that would prevent you from perhaps talking about certain topics or having certain conversations with your audience, when in actuality it gives you freedom. When you've decided and defined what your brand voice is, you can jump on any trending topic. The way that Wendy's as a brand jumps on any and everything to get themselves in front of their audience is it is beautiful. The witty sarcasm, the like edgy little humor, the way that they do it allows them to talk about uh, Kendrick Lamar and Drake's beef. They can talk about when one of their competitors is totally screwing up something and getting roasted in the press. They can jump on that. You can do any and everything from that place of a firm foundation. That is your brand's voice. That actually is your brand character, with voice being a part of your brand character. When you haven't defined it, you don't know what you're leaving on the table. You don't know what you're missing out on. Your marketing could be working right now. But what if you decided to get really clear on what your brand identity is, your brand's character, what your brand's voice is, decided what your brand values are, because the values and the voice intersect in a significant way. What if you took the time to do that and allowed future growth to be fueled from a place of clarity instead of flying by the seat of your pants, or allowing somebody else who creates your marketing for you to decide what your brand is and what your brand isn't? You don't know what you're missing out on. And also keep in mind that your competitors are doing this work. They're stepping up. They've got grand goals for the year, and they're figuring out how they can better get themselves in front of the same people that you're trying to get yourself, your brand in front of, and how they can bring those people in closer to them so they don't choose you. What if you could tighten your shot group a little bit better with regard to your marketing by deciding for yourself who your brand is, how your brand communicates, and start to build that trust and that consistency across all of your channels, whether it's you talking one-on-one to somebody at a networking meeting, or they're reading an email, or they picked up your flyer, or they're watching a YouTube video, or your VA has written social media content across your go-to platforms. The customer, the audience gets the same experience. The audience gets the same experience, regardless of where they come in contact with your brand. And because they get the same experience, when they discover you on a social channel and they like the experience, so they sign up to get on your email list, and through their emails, they like the experience. And so they decide to show up at a networking meeting to meet you, and they meet you and they get the same experience. And then they pay for something and they get the same experience. You've now created something that they have opted into that they enjoy. Do you think after that experience is over, they might tell a friend or talk about you on their social channels or keep buying from you? All because you've taken the time to decide. This is who we are. This is how we move. This is how we communicate. And we're going to be consistent across all of the touch points that our audience can engage with us on. And then I'm talking about this like AI is not a huge part of this process. When you add AI to what I'm talking about, imagine how consistently your content will be, because you have given clear instructions to your AI tools so that it can align with that every single time. It's not hit and miss anymore. You're clear, so your tools can be clear. Okay, if you haven't done this, if you've never done this, or it's been a long time since you have taken yourself through this process, I want you to do a couple of things. First, I want you to ask yourself, if my brand were a person, how would they talk? How would your brand communicate? What adjectives would describe your brand? And whatever it is that, if you recognize that the adjectives that describe your brand now are not the adjectives that you want to describe your brand in the future, change them. Pick something else and choose to be loyal to that. How do you want, this is a question that I ask in every workshop, every training I do when we talk about brand character. How do you want people to feel when they engage with your brand? Whether it's you, whether it's an email, whether it's your social media content, how do you want people to feel? If you want them to feel inferior, then that's what your communication is going to be. But keep in mind, nobody stays anywhere where they are made to feel inferior. How do you want them to feel? That will support you getting the yes. Be honest with yourself and understand that if nobody else in your market is doing it, that could be a good thing. That could mean it's for you to do. I have yet to meet a marketing strategist that talks about marketing strategy the way that I do. First of all, you're not going to find my marketing strategy framework anyplace else. That much I know. And the way I talk about it, the way I communicate, the way I deliver it is unique to me. It's unique to my brand, because there are certain emotions that I want you to feel when you engage with my content, when you engage with me working one-on-one, when you engage with my digital products, When you sign up for my lead magnets, my free resources, there are emotions that I am trying to spark in you. But I couldn't design my marketing to do that if I wasn't clear on what those emotions are, if I hadn't made the decision in advance. And from that place, engineered my marketing in a very specific way. So, first, ask yourself, if your brand were a person, how would they communicate? How do you want your people to feel? Second thing is, what are your values? Like, what's your right and left limit? What matters to you? If you haven't decided, identified those things for your brand, you probably should. If your brand values community, then your voice probably should feel a certain way. If your brand values winning at all costs, then your voice should probably sound a certain way. You see the connection? You see how one leads to two? Last thing is take a look at what you have already out there. Go back through your emails. Start with your email sequences. Do they cultivate? Do they manufacture the feelings that you want people to feel? Do they align with the values that you've identified are important for your brand? If they don't, fix them. Look at your content. I know we talk, especially in marketing strategy, we talk all about, okay, looking at the data and all of those things. Look at the data, yes, and then figure out why the data is what it is. If your data is showing you that your marketing isn't working, what could be contributing to your marketing not working? Is it because you thought you were creating messages that allow people to feel that allow people to feel seen, heard, and understood? That's what you thought up here, but what's actually being delivered is the opposite. That could be at the root of why your marketing isn't doing what you want it to do. That could be the reason why people aren't signing up for your lead magnet. That could be the reason why people aren't sharing your videos. That could be the reason why people aren't reaching out to you directly. It all starts with your clarity. Your clarity. Everything comes from your clarity. And so I'm challenging you, if you haven't done this, if you haven't thought about what your brand voice is, do it today, this week. At least start thinking about it. And take yourself through those steps that I gave you. Don't forget to audit your content. Find the gaps and commit to doing differently. Commit to filling them in a way that supports, aligns, cultivate, nurtures all of the feelings that you want your audience to have when they engage with you. And if you have watched this to this point in the video and you recognize that you need support, I am here to help you. Shoot me a message. Links will be included with this video where you can reach out. You could sign up for my free resource, the AI strategic content planning kit, and learn how to start to use AI to do these things with some examples included. Get my emails, reach out, work with me one-on-one, get one of my self-paced products, all designed to help you, like I said at the top, use AI the right way to design and execute your marketing strategy. I'm all about, we already work hard. Like, let's commit to working smart. Working smart starts with recognizing the parts of your strategy that you haven't paid much attention to and deciding that, you know what, 2025, I'm going to do differently. I want more and better. I'm going to do different things to get those more, better results. So if you have any questions, comments, drop them in the chat. Let's continue the conversation. Let's keep it going. What questions do you have about brand voice? What is your brand voice? If you know it, I would love to know what it is. So thank you all for tuning in. You know where to find me if you need me. Until next time, I'll catch you later. Bye.